Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Naistiki
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namah.
So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 18. Chapter entitled The Cause of All Causes, Text 18. Sattvam Rajastama iti
Sattvam Rajastama iti
Nirgunasya Gunastraya
Nirgunasya Gunastraya
Sthiti Sargo Nirodheshu
Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu
Grihita Mayaya Vibho
Grihita Mayaya Vibho
Sattvam Rajastama iti
Sattvam Rajastama iti
Nirgunasya Gunastraya
Nirgunasya Gunastraya
Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu
Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu
Grihita Mayaya Vibho
Grihita Mayaya Vibho
Sattvam Rajastama iti
Sattvam Rajastama iti
Nirgunasya Gunastraya
Nirgunasya Gunastraya
Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu
Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu
Grihita Mayaya Vibho
Grihita Mayaya Vibho Sattvam Rajastama iti Sattvam Rajastama iti Nirgunasya Gunastraya Nirgunasya Gunastraya Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu Grihita Mayaya Vibho Grihita Mayaya Vibho Sattvam Rajastama iti Sattvam Rajastama iti Nirgunasya Gunastraya Nirgunasya Gunastraya Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu Sthiti Sarga Nirodeshu Grihita Mayaya Vibho Grihita Mayaya Vibho.
So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The Supreme Lord is pure spiritual form, transcendental to all material qualities. Yet, for the sake of creation of the material world and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy the material modes of nature called goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purport. The Supreme Lord is the master of the external energy manifested by the three material modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. As master of this energy, he is ever unaffected by the influence of such bewildering energy. The living entities, the jivas, however, are affected by or susceptible to being influenced by such modes of material nature. That is the difference between the Lord and the living entities. The living entities are subjected by those qualities, although originally the living entities are qualitatively one with the Lord. In other words, the material modes of nature, being products of the energy of the Lord, are certainly connected with the Lord, but the connection is just like that between the master and the servants. The Supreme Lord is the controller of the material energy, whereas the living entities who are engaged in material world are neither masters nor controllers. Rather, they became subordinate to or controlled by such energy. Factually, the Lord is eternally manifested by his internal potency or spiritual energy, just like the sun and the sun rays in the clear sky. But at times he creates a mental energy as the sun creates a cloud in the clear sky. As the sun is ever increasingly unaffected by a spot of cloud, so also the unlimited Lord is unaffected by the spot of mental energy manifested at times in the unlimited span of the Lord's rays of Brahmajyoti. So here Lord Brahma, when asked by Narad Muni that, you know, are you the cause of creation or is there someone else? Right? Because seeing the greatness of Lord Brahma and seeing his creative power, it is not just only for Narad Muni, anybody would get bewildered. Anybody would get bewildered. But an intellectual person like Narad Muni, what does he do? He understands that if a person is doing such a great thing, there should be something behind it. And therefore, with that intention, he asked this question. And therefore, to answer to that is his entire second canto actually, where Lord Brahma is explaining how he was born, right, and how he got that creative energy. So therefore, in trying to explain the creator, like in the previous verse, it explained that, you know, inspired by him only, inspired by Lord Krishna only, I discover that is already created by him. So what is Brahma's position? Brahma is saying, I am simply discovering. So what do you mean by discovery? Discovery means
Find out.
things were already existing and you just found them out. You just found them out. Ante. Utne aur kuch nahi. It is not that you have made the things. You know, that the Discovery Channel is there. It is not that they have created all the species, what they show in water, underwater, or on land, above land, on trees, or whatever, wherever they show. That means things were there, those species, those living entities were there. Those varieties of animals, insects, birds, reptiles, trees, all are there. But only thing is, because they were not visible to people, they found out, they took that risk, they made some endeavors and made that things visible to the general people, to their channel. Is it not? So similarly, Brahma is very honest in accepting, no? That is not me. Things are already there. What I have done is simply discovered them. And that also he says that discovery is also, now see how Brahmaji in each and every word what he is presenting in the text 17, he is not taking credit to himself. He is not taking credit in himself. First he is saying that I am discovering. Things is already there. So in order to discover something, or in order to find out something, what is the most important thing? You should be in a position to see. Is it not? And what is a very important criteria for things to become visible? Light in any form. Is it not? If it is daytime, then sunlight. If it is night time, then moonlight. If there is no sun, no moon, like in Amasya, then what do you need? You need a torchlight. That is how this whole world is manifested, is visible. But come opposite to that is the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, na tat bhashate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka, yad gatva na nivartante, tat dhama parvam mama. He says there is no sun, there is no light, there is no moon, there is no electricity, but it's still bright. It is still shining, it is luminous. Is it not? But in this material world is full of darkness. If you remove sun, if you remove moon, there is no electricity, then what do you see? It's fully dark. So now in that darkness, nobody can see anything. Even though things may exist, even though you may have the power to discover also, you may go to some place, but if you can't see, what you will do? It's not. Just like these deep divers, when they enter deep into the water, what they do? They take big halogen lights. Why? Because the sun rays are not able to penetrate deep into the water. To a certain degree, sun rays can penetrate, but after a certain point, it's completely dark. But in that darkness, also so many varieties of living entities, species are existing. So to in order to search them, what they do? They take big lights and they focus it, and then they see, oh, this was that was that. So here is saying, only under His vision, as the all pervading super soul, I am also created by Him only. So here it says, under His vision as the all pervading super soul. It means two ways. What two ways? One is external light, and second is internal light. You may see things, but you should know also, or who will make you see things. It's not just if somebody has eyes, that means he sees everything. Just because he has light, he sees everything. No. Just like if you go out of a gold shop, then some gold will be lying here and there. Gold is there, you have vision, light is also there, but not necessarily that you will see the gold. So Paramatma has to inspire you, as direct you see there the gold is. So indirectly, Lord Brahma ultimately saying, see, even though if I created also, but still I am not get why? Because ultimately, I have been created by Him. So that means ultimately whatever I am doing, whatever I have, whatever I possess, it is by Him only. If I say I have some intelligence, I am intelligent, I have some skills, but where are those skills? Or how long those skills will be? As long as you are existing. Okay. But after you don't, if you cease to exist, then where are those skills? Those skills are gone. Those art is gone. Okay. So then he says, even I am created by Him. So then that means what he's saying, ultimately, if something is coming out from me, but I am coming out from someone, if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, that means A is equal to C. Simple formula. So ultimately, what Brahmaji is doing is giving all credit to the Supreme Lord. That is a sign of an advanced devotee. No claim game. He is not claiming anything. He is not claiming anything that this is mine. Therefore, Krishna says, "Na yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam srimat urjitam evava tat tat evava gachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhava." Oh Arjuna, whatever great thing you see in this world, understand it's simply a spark of my splendor. I am splendor and he is spark of that. So what to be so proud of? So therefore, the lesson to be understood from this is, if a person like Brahmaji has so much power, so much intelligence, so much everything whatever a person could desire in this world, what is his mood? Like just now before coming here, I was reading that one great person, one very rich person, he has announced openly, publicly in London that he is going to donate 75% of his income, his life savings, 75% of his life savings for social welfare activities, especially in the field of education. And that each 75% is 21,000 crores. That much money is going to donate, 21,000 crores. Imagine how many temples. He's an Indian person is going to donate that. So now some person will feel, wow, 21,000 crores. It's not just 21,000. He's such a great person. Yes, he's really great, no doubt. But what is that person's greatness in front of the Supreme Lord? What is his greatness? Because Supreme Lord is so rich, that nobody can match with his opulence, his wealth, and what he is doing, how much he is doing. Whatever wealth anybody has, he is the source of all that wealth. He is the source of all wealth. And he is not just wealthy, he is giving also. In the form of rain, in the form of sunlight, in the form of everything. He is giving to everyone. But nobody appreciates it. Nobody speaks about that. Why? Because God does not call about some press report or social media and publicly say, then I am giving. So therefore, you have to understand that whatever we are, ultimately is simply, we are sparks of that splendor. Okay. Yeah, whatever beautiful, great thing we see, it's simply spark of splendor. So therefore, then he says that Supreme Lord, the verse today which you read, he said, what does he do? In spite of himself being pure spiritual form, his form is what? Pure spiritual form, Satchidananda Swarup, full of knowledge, eternality and bliss. Sat, Chit and Ananda. But that form who's transcended to all material qualities. But what does he do? Still for the sake of creation, maintenance and destruction. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Brahma is saying, Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Shadana, Sakti, Rekha, Chayai, Vayasya, Bhuvanani, Vivarti, Durga. So, Srishti, creation, Sthiti, maintenance, and Pralaya. Here, Pralaya is Nirodha. Nirodha means destruction. So, for that, to carry out that function, what he is doing? He accepts through the external energy the material modes of nature called goodness, passion, and ignorance. That means, he is saying, he becomes Vishnu, he becomes Brahma, and he becomes Shiva. So therefore, Prabhupada in this whole purport, the first part of the purport is trying to explain the difference between Jiva and the Supreme Lord. The Jiva, no matter how powerful he may be, but the difference, Prabhupada writing now, the difference between the Lord and living entities is what? The living entities are affected or susceptible of being influenced by the modes of material nature. They are, even though qualitatively same, they are same. The Swarupa is same. The Lord is Satchidananda, Atma is also Satchidananda. But being created from the marginal energy, it has a tendency to become susceptible to the influence of material energy. But Krishna, Mayadhyakshana Prakriti Swete Sacharacharam. When Prakriti is under him, then what to speak of his powers? Then what to speak of her powers? Her power is what? The three gunas. Because by three gunas only she is binding all the living entities in this world. Who? Prakriti. So when Prakriti is in his hand, naturally his powers are also in hand. So just like if your wife is in your control, if she is committed to you, dedicated to you, she works under you, then her wealth is also your wealth. But in Kali does not happen. In Kali the wife may say, I am yours, but not my wealth. If the husband asks, please give some money, you will purchase a house. No, I will not give. That is my money. After getting married also, wife says, that is my money, I am not going to give. That is Jiva's condition. But that is not with Krishna. When Krishna says, Prakriti is mine, under me, her energies are also under me. Here in this material world, people may say, my wife is under my control, but I am under control of her power. My wife is under my control, but I am under the control of her powers. That is not with Krishna. Krishna is controlling the material energy, at the same time he is beyond her control. But still that personality, he accepts the modes and he becomes Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. For what? For Srishti, for Sthiti and Pralaya. That is what Prabhupada tried to explain, that the difference between Jiva and the living entities. That the living entities are also controller, Supreme Lord is also controller. But what happens is, the Jiva is a little controller and ultimately gets controlled by the three modes of material nature. So here providing a beautiful example. The Jivas, the Supreme Lord is a control of the material energy, whereas the living entities who are entangled in the material world are neither masters nor controllers. Because they are entangled, so they are neither masters nor controllers. Rather, they become subordinate to or controlled by such energy. So factually, the Lord is eternally manifested by his internal potency or spiritual energy, just like the sun rays and its rays in the clear sky. Sun and its rays. But sometimes Prabhupada is saying, in that sky there is a cloud formed. Just like here when we see on the ground, from ground level, sometimes very hot sunny day, some areas are shadowy, some areas are bright. Even when you fly, when you see from the aeroplane, you can see where the clouds are. You see below the cloud, the area will be dark. But if you see around, it is bright. Sometimes we walk also, it's cloudy here, and then we cross an area, it's sunshine. Why? Because the clouds are covering the sun rays. Some aspect of sun rays, but not the sun. And when you fly, then you see, when you see those clouds, they are simply in between. They are not on the sun. The patch is not on the sun. From the other side, from bottom you can see the cloud. But if you go upper side, you see the sunlight is affecting even the clouds. So similarly, in this whole creation, in the Brahma Jyoti, at one corner there is Mahatattva, you can see those clouds. But that does not mean that clouds are affecting the sun. It's other way around. As the sun is ever increasingly unaffected by a spot of cloud, so the unlimited Lord is unaffected by the spot of material energy manifested at times in the unlimited span of Lord's rays of Brahma Jyoti. He says, at times. At times means what? What do you mean at times? That means it is not always. That means it is temporary. Just like the existence of the cloud is temporary. The purpose is served, the clouds disappear. Clouds hamesha dikhta hai. And who forms the clouds? What is the source of clouds? Sun only. Because sun will only evaporate, no? Sun will only evaporate the water. So similarly, even the metal energy is created by, just like clouds are created by the sun, similarly the metal energy is also created by Krishna. So therefore they are not affected. And one more lesson, one more thought that was coming to my mind is, here when they say that the Lord accepts the material natures of goodness, passion, ignorance, then he becomes Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So that means here Brahmaji is saying that Brahmaji is the representation of the Supreme Lord with the modes of, which mode? Passion. Because creation, na? Creation के लिए passion मांगता है. Sometimes it says, when there is no appropriate person To become Brahma, the Lord himself becomes Brahma. The Lord himself becomes Brahma sometimes. He becomes Lord Shiva. When there is no qualified person, क्या करेगा? Just like there is no pujari, if there is no cook, then the temple president will become cook also. He appoints, but sometimes he is not there, he is fall sick. तो क्या करना है? Cooking छोड़ देंगे क्या? No, cooking has to take place, offering has to take place. So he will come into the kitchen, but a common person will say, अरे ये cook है तुम्हारे temple का. Does it become cook? No. It is a temporarily post accepted by the temple president. Similarly, the Lord also becomes Brahma. But here it does not mean that Brahma is saying, I am Lord. The one more thought is coming to my mind is that Brahma is out of his humility saying, अगर मैं नहीं भी रहूँ ना, even if I am not there also, still the show will run. How? The Lord will take care of that. So therefore, taking humble position, Brahma is saying, even if I am not there also, the creation will take place. The creation will take place. So this is whole verses which Brahma is speaking before actually beginning to describe the creation is a role of humility. And one may ask, why Brahma is created or selected? Why Brahma is selected to be the secretary created such a high position? Because of that humility. Humility है करके is qualified. The qualification for becoming Brahma is not just performing 100 or 1000 Ashwamedh Yajnas. If one wants to become Brahma or Indra, something like that, there are certain conditions. They have to perform certain number of yajnas. They have to qualify themselves. So, just by performing these rituals, one will not become Brahma. What is important? The result of all those rituals is there should be humility of heart. If there is no humility of heart, then Ishtamaya Kevalam. Just like whatever you do, as Bhagavatam says, Dharma Swanishtita Pumsan Vishwaksena Kata Suya Not Utpadayet Yediratim Shramayva Kevalam. Whatever dharma you may organize or you may undergo, whatever activities you may do, but if the result of all those activities is, if you don't develop attraction for hearing Krishna Katha, it is waste. So similarly, if one performs big things to get a big post, but in the process if he does not get that humility, then that post will not last for a long time. First of all, you will not be selected. One may have hundreds of qualities, but if you don't have that humility of submission, of gratitude, then you may have the ability, but you will not be given the opportunity. So what is the use of having ability if you don't get the opportunity? You may be a good driver, but if you don't get the opportunity to drive, what is the use of your driving lessons? Driving सीख के फायदा ही क्या? Chance मिला. So similarly, the only qualification of such great personalities as Lord Brahma to come to such a great post is being manifested or demonstrated in this verse, where he is accepting the complete humility that ultimately whatever I am is simply because of Lord. I am nothing. Whatever it may appear I am doing something, it is just happening because of Lord's mercy. The Lord is getting it done. What happened? So therefore, the most important qualification that is required to get any opportunity to do something great is the qualification of humility. Because humility will attract grace and grace will empower. Humility will attract grace and grace will empower you. So that is what Brahmaji is demonstrating in his talks with Narad Muni. So therefore the biggest qualification for any service is humility. और humility नहीं है, service may be given to you, but that service will not last. Either way, or that service will be taken away, or you will not be able to do it. Or that very same service become the cause of your fall down. If humility is not there. As I say in management, I will give you enough rope to hang yourself. I will give you enough rope to hang yourself. So services will be given. You may demand also, see my ability, see my talent, this and that. Yes, let it be. But at the end of the day, you should become humble. That is the, the consistency of service is dependent on the humility of the practitioner, of the Sevak. If the Sevak is humble, then service will continue. If the Sevak becomes proud of his service, then service will be taken away, or if not taken away, that service will become the cause of his fall down. So many times services are taken away as not some management, this thing, just out of mercy, so that you don't fall down. That was services are taken away, because that service is making you proud. If service makes you proud, then service will be taken away. So that is very, very essential. So humility is the essence of all qualifications. Humility है, that will attract everything. But if humility is not there, everything will be repelled back after some time. What is that humility? Humility means accepting that I am insignificant and whatever I am made of is the Lord's mercy. Whatever I am doing, it is Lord's mercy. Ekakya, what is that? What that verse is that? योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सा. If I think of myself, योग्यता विचारे, if I think of my qualifications, किछु नहीं पाए, nothing. But only one qualification is what? तुम्हारा करुणा सा. That whatever I am simply made up of your mercy. आपके दया से बना हूं मैं बस. But one should not think that as a weakness. One may feel, what is my existence? My existence is simply dependent on someone else. That is the biggest asset. In the material world, people think, no, I have to achieve something. I have to have my own existence. I have to have my own reputation. I have to have my own position. Then that is some value. I should not depend on someone. If I feel that he is not there, then what will happen to me? That's what people think in the material world. But to be dependent on someone, to be a part of somebody's grace, is the biggest asset. Why? Because that asset will actually give you Krishna. If you are dependent on mercy of devotee without your own independent ideas, then one day Krishna will get convinced that yes, he is not thinking of anything else, because he is dependent on the mercy of my devotee, so now I will give mercy to him. So that is the biggest asset actually. So therefore the biggest qualification for one to be a part of Krishna's plan or to be a part of Krishna's project is the humility. Humility that I am nothing, and whatever I am nothing, but if still something is happening through me, then it is simply the Lord's grace. And that is what Brahmaji is, as a guru, as an ideal guru, as ideal father, is telling his dependent Baba, see, you may feel I am this, but I am nothing. Ultimately, whatever is there is coming from there, so therefore serve Krishna. Like that. This is what we learn from this series of verses. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanand.
Hare Krishna.